The musical, anyhow, Tuesday to Saturday. There's some nights gone, tickets for other nights, to the best of my knowledge. And the music, of course, the musical itself is based on the film that starred Helen Mirren and Julie Walters, which in turn was actually based on a true story. Plunkett Ferry, who is the director, is with me in the studio now. So, Plunkett, maybe you can tell us a wee bit more about the actual story itself.
Hello, John. Yeah, thanks a million for having me. Yeah, the story, it's based on a true story of a woman called Angela Baker, who lived in a little village in Yorkshire, and her husband died of Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of cancer. Yeah. And they were visiting the hospital a lot, herself and her friend, and the waiting room wasn't in the best of conditions, and the city they were sitting on was pretty poor. And they said, let's raise some money and get a proper settee for that waiting room.
That's how it all started.
That's how it all started, yeah.
But then it was the concept, it was the idea.
It was the idea,
the way they decided to raise the money.
That's it. They were part of the local WI, the Women's Institute. And they always used to do calendars of the local churches and all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
And let's be different. So
all very austere and all very
absolutely,
PC.
Yeah.
But they decided to
do a nude calendar.
Yes.
Yeah, and they had 6 of them. She talked 6 of them into doing a nude calendar.
Right.
And against the WI's wishes of the time, of course.
You can imagine.
But they ploughed on, as you do, and they had a very successful calendar, sold really well locally, but then word got out around the country and around America.
It was a nude calendar with all the
it's all very
bits.
tastefully done.
Yes.
Yeah, really, as our show will be very tastefully done. They're nude, but it's all very tastefully done. So, and
in the case of the first calendar, all the bits and pieces were covered using different things.
As you do, things they do, the sewing and knitting and painting and doing art stuff and flower arranging and all that.
All the sort of activities you'd associate with the Women's Institute.
Absolutely. So they used that for their calendar, and it went all around the world. The news of it. They went to America. They were on a Jay Leno show and all that kind of stuff, and they sold millions and millions of calendars and made millions over since that time for different cancers around charities around the world. Yeah,
a brilliant story and a brilliant success.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then out of that came the film, and out of the film came the musical.
Yeah, well, the play first.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we did the play 10 years ago. The play is the same basic story, just told differently. Different characters now in the musical that weren't in the. We have the same basic 6 ladies who were in the camp, but then we have now their husbands and their children are now part of the musical. And funny, I heard an interview with them a couple of weeks ago on the radio, and they said of the film and the play and the musical, the musical is the most true to life of actually what happened than the other things.
Oh, more so than the play.
More so than the play, and more so than the film. Yeah, which was interesting to hear. Yeah.
Of the Letterkenny Music and Drama Group's presentation of the play, are there any of the cast the same?
We have a few of the cast. We could have had them all, but unfortunately, a lot of them they all have to sing in this and the musical, of course. Right. So we have 3 of them who were in the original play are still in the musical.
Brilliant.
Other ones, unfortunately, they couldn't sing. Okay. And the music, I have to say, is beautiful. There's some beautiful singing in it and some beautiful songs in it.
So the cast is the main cast.
Yeah, the main cast. We have Ciara Gallagher, who was originally in the show. Rachel O'Koch. She is in the town for many years, originally from Dublin.
Yeah.
And they're the 2. That's Chris and Annie. They were the original 2 who started it all off. Yeah.
Right.
And then we have Geraldine Galligan, and her sister Mary Hart. And then we have Mary Lane, as she is called. And then Maya, she's Maya McGinley now. She was Maya O'Donnell up to a few weeks ago. She got married in the middle of the show on us. So they're the 6 main ladies.
Brilliant.
So they're the ones who do the new. Well, we might have a few surprises in the show.
It's not all women in this. There's male cast members.
Their husbands.
Well.
We have the 3 husbands.
Yes.
Of the 3 main ladies are in it as well. And they play like your own Rodney, I'm sure.
Yes, brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law of John's here. He's one of the main characters, and Martin Galland and Martin Anderson. They're in it as well.
Yes, from Sonder.
They play a good part in it as well. Yeah. Wow. And then we have 3 of the children as well in it, two boys and 1 girl. Yeah. So it's a lovely story.
And
the concept is fabulous.
All original music.
All original music written by
songs.
Gary Barlow. Yeah. And the music is absolutely lovely. I go, every night you go home, when I get up in the morning, there's a different song playing around in my head. Yeah,
that's a good sign.
That's a really good sign, and it's a different one because they're really lovely. Yeah.
And Gary Barlow, a lot of people might be surprised by the fact that Gary
Exactly.
Barlow from Take That, is
yeah,
the man behind the
he's-
songs.
yeah. And Tim Firth, he was involved with the play as well,
Right.
and he did the script for the musical as well.
How long has it been for yourselves?
We started. We picked all the parts. Myself, Denise Roper as the musical director. Myself and Denise, we came together in end of May, beginning of June. We picked all the parts, and then we took summer off because there's hardly any point in meeting during the summer because people are so busy. So we picked all the parts, and I think one practice before the end of June, and then we started off big time in September. So it's been busy. We've had 2 practices a week at the first couple of weeks, but then we've had 3 and 4 practices a week since then. It's a big show. It's a long show, and it's a very bitty show. Very difficult because you have mixture of dialogue in the middle of a song. So it's all very hard to get it all tied up. Yeah,
Quite technical.
But it's very technical.
But that's
yeah.
for you to worry about,
Well,
not
that's
the
for me,
audience.
not for them. No, not for the audience. They won't notice any difference. Yeah, but
A show is a show, and a
Exactly.
good show is a good show.
Exactly.
But it's great just to be back playing in front of packed
it
houses,
is.
live
Yeah.
audiences,
That's
back
right.
doing proper rehearsals.
Oh, it is really, yeah, and not well, mind you. They say COVID's on the up again, but hopefully so far so good.
Yeah.
Our cast are fine, yeah, and hopefully we'll be all there tomorrow night, raring to go.
Yeah,
I think 2019 was Legally Blonde was our last show, nearly 4 years ago. Yeah,
in 2019.
that's right. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's
And I suppose it's a
exciting.
concern because, as you say, with COVID, on the way back up again,
Oh, yeah.
you'd be conscious that any of particularly the main players, somebody got
Absolutely,
COVID.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. So hopefully,
Anyway, fingers crossed.
Exactly.
That doesn't happen, and everything goes to plan.
Yeah.
So it opens tomorrow night, runs through
Opens
until
tomorrow night,
Saturday
runs-
night.
Yeah, and seats are there's limited seats available, so I would urge people to go and book fairly soon.
Okay.
You might get some of the night, but it's like I know the play we were sold out before it opened at all. But there were different times. People had more money, and more people were freer to go that time, and they booked well in advance. Whereas nowadays it's different. People, they don't like to book too far in advance. because it's,
Absolutely. And the theatre
it's
will
a
say that
changed
about
life.
a lot of shows.
Oh yeah, unfortunately, that's just changed times.
It is. Well, I think it's
But-
COVID's done that. It's because
I
of the
think it's
the
COVID has done
uncertainty.
that.
It's just left us
Uncertainty,
with a
and-
slightly different psyche.
Yeah, people are afraid they might lose their money, but the Grianan guarantee that anybody books, and if they can't go for one reason or the other, they will get their money back. It's not just a voucher; you get your money back. So
Okay.
people should realise that. Yeah.
So limited availability, but check with the box office as to that. And the best luck with the run. Calendar Girls in Grianan Theatre from tomorrow night through until Saturday.
Thanks a million, John.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Candles, lanterns, Christmas trees, decorations, and all types